Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to PokeMeow. I'm your host, Christian, and today we're talking PokeKnowledge. In this series, I'm going to be explaining different strategies and the fundamentals of the Pokemon trading card game. In this episode, I'm going to be covering what you need to play the game. So, we're going to start with a 60 card deck. In Pokemon, every deck must have exactly 60 cards. Can't have 59, can't have 61. In these decks, we have different things that consist of it. We have Pokemon cards. They can be basic, stage 1, stage 2. We'll go into all that later on. We have item cards, and we have energy cards. So these are basically the things that are going to be in our 60 card decks. Like I said, you need exactly 60 cards to be able to play the game. How you get these cards, you can get them from packs, boxes, Pokemon promotional boxes. There are many different ways. You can go to your league, you can get league cards. You can trade other people, you can buy them off eBay. You can get cards a lot of different ways. So it's pretty self-explanatory on its own. The next thing we're going to need that is mandatory to play the Pokemon trading card game is either a rolling die or a flip coin. Now, in the beginning of the game, you're going to roll or flip to see who goes first. Whoever wins the coin flip or die roll gets to choose who goes first. So, as you can see, this coin, it's a Metagross coin, if you're familiar with Pokemon. This came in a 3-pack blister that I got from Walmart. This is the head side, and this is the tail side. On all of these Pokemon coins that come out of the blister packs, they all have the Pokemon logo on the back that is in black, and then they also have a featured Pokemon on the front. The featured Pokemon is always heads. The Pokemon black side is the tails. As for the rolling die, for a legal rolling die, it needs to have beveled edges, and it needs to be this size. I'll be showing you a damage counter soon, and they are smaller than this, but you need the beveled edges because when you roll the die, you don't want to have sharp edges that prevents it from rolling. So the beveled edge just gives it more of a randomized attribute. So as you can see, it has a symbol on this die. This actually represents 1. I got this die from an ETB box, which is an Elite Trainer box. I'll actually show you one right here. These are great for starters. You can go out, get one of these. Usually they'll run you about 30 bucks, something like that, give or take. They come with a bunch of different stuff. It's pretty much like a starter pack. It comes with packs, it comes with all the things I'm about to discuss, except for a flip coin. And that's a great starting spot if you're a new player. But as I said, this is from Ultra Prism. This is actually the Ultra Prism set symbol, and Pokemon comes out with different sets every 3 months, I believe. And this is just a rolling die that I got from the Ultra Prism set. So as you can see, the set symbol is always going to represent 1, and it goes up to 6. Now, these numbers actually represent, like this, 6 would represent 6D. So you just add a 0 to whatever the end of it is, because all damage in Pokemon is counted by tens. I'm actually getting a little ahead of myself, but you see what I mean. Now, unlike the flip coin, the roll die, when you roll it, you say heads or tails, or evens or odds, and your opponent calls it. So when you roll it, this is a 4. 4 is even, so evens are heads, and odds are tails. The way that you can remember this is Todd's. I actually just thought that up in the first run through of this video. So, evens is heads, tails is odds for these rolling die. On to the next one, we have these damage counters. And like I said, it's pretty much the same thing as this rolling die, it's just a little bit smaller. And you actually get these in ETBs too. So damage counters are going to represent how much damage is on a Pokemon. So as I said previously, if I have a 4 on a Pokemon, that means that Pokemon has 40 damage on it. Sometimes people also use these to represent other things in the game as well, to keep count and track of things. I'll go into more detail about that later. But yeah, that's a damage counter. And on to the next one. We have burn and poison counters. So there's different status conditions in the Pokemon trading card game. I will be making a whole video on that for you guys if you're interested. But these are just the basic counters that you need to represent two of the status conditions that are in Pokemon. There are a total of 5. So poison is pretty much, if it's on a Pokemon, just represents that it's poisoned, and if the burn marker is on a Pokemon, then that means that they're burned. Like I said, I'll be making another video going more in depth on status conditions, so keep a lookout for that, guys. Up next, we have a GX counter. So there is actually a new element in the game that just came out about last year, and it is GX Pokemon. So a Pokemon might be GX Pokemon, and that would mean that they would have a GX attack. GX attacks can only be used once during a game by any Pokemon, but it can only be used once. I'm going to reiterate that one more time. GX's attacks can only be used once per game. And this GX marker pretty much just represents, you put it right up here in your mat. Okay, if it says GX, I haven't used my GX. Once I use my GX attack, I flip it over. That means that I can't use another GX attack all game. It's pretty much just for you and your opponent to, and judges as well, to represent that, hey, I already used my GX attack. You always want to keep track of things. So, on to the next one. We have card sleeves. I'm sure you saw that my 60 card deck is all sleeved up. Sleeves definitely help protect your cards, and there are several different types of sleeves that you can go out and try and use. Feel free to go out and try different sleeves that work for you. These ones actually came in an ETB, an Elite Trainer box. Every Elite Trainer box comes with these, as well as the GX counter and the poison and burn counters, the tournament legal rolling die, and damage counters. And ETB comes with all that, so that's why I'm saying it's a great spot to start if you're a beginner. These, like I said, came in an ETB, and these are just basic sleeves. I'm not going to go into detail right now about different kinds of sleeves, but I would definitely recommend just doing your research. And if you don't know how these work, you just take the top, you slide the card right in there face up, and there you go. You have your card in a protective sleeve. It's great for when you're shuffling and everything. You're not going to bend up your cards. Some of these cards are worth a lot of money. You'd be surprised. So you just have to make sure that your cards are kept in good condition. I actually don't know if it is a sanctioned rule that you must have your cards in sleeves, but I would highly recommend it for anybody that's going to be playing the Pokemon trading card game. You can get sleeves at hobby shops, Walmart, like I said, ETB boxes, anywhere really that sells any kind of card products. Okay, so that is all the mandatory things that you're going to need to play the Pokemon trading card game. On to the optional things. As you can see, my delicious Burger Cat right here, this is actually a playmat. So you can see it's made out of rubber material, and I'm just using this as my background. But you can roll these up, you can put them in a tube, keep them with you, and these playmats help just protect your cards on a playing field, and also it just brings a little bit of pizzazz with you, instead of playing just on a plain white table or a wooden table, it kind of brings a little spice to it. It's not mandatory, it is optional, but it's always nice to have a nice playmat. Whenever I roll this thing out, people are like, oh my god, Burger Cat, that's great. I actually got this on Amazon. Some special Pokemon products come with playmats. They're a little more expensive, obviously, or you can go to a local hobby shop, get a playmat there. Like I said, they're very easy to find, so you can just type in playmat in Google and it'll come up. You can get any kind of playmat. You can get a custom one if you'd like. On to the next optional thing. We have a deck box. So this is pretty much just a simple Ultimate Guard deck box. And what this allows me to do is just carry my deck around with me without, I don't want to lose any cards, so I obviously want to put my deck somewhere safe. With this model of deck box, it actually has a top compartment that comes off. Just show you the angle there. And you just put your deck right in there. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, guys. And you just put it on, and your deck's inside there. Now, it also has this bottom compartment that you can see. I'll just open that up for you. And that's where I can keep all of my die, and my, poison, burn, my GX counter. You can just, put all this stuff in there, your rolling coin if you decide to, and bam, there you go. So whenever you sit down, you can just unroll your playmat, open up your deck box, pull out your deck. There you go. Nice. and then you can just open the bottom compartment, which is not working for me right now. You can pull out your GX, your poison and burn, just put them wherever they go on the table. Your rolling die, you can put that up there with your coin. And then what I usually like to do is just put this on top of my deck box, and these are my damage counters, and I'll actually just put it to the side of the mat, so that way it's just quick, easy access to get the damage counters whenever you need them. So I'm just going to put all this stuff away right here. Okay, so on to the next optional thing. We have pen and paper. So if you're serious about playing the Pokemon trading card game and you get into the more competitive scene, I would definitely recommend bringing a pen and a paper with you. You can't take notes on any kind of electronic device. It has to be written down, and it has to be legible. So the reason why I bring this is because there's things called prize cards. So whenever you start the game, you draw your starting hand of 7. I'm going to be going more into detail when I explain to you guys how to play the game. But after you draw those and you have a basic Pokemon and you put it down, you take the next 6 cards off the top of your deck and put them on the side face down. Those are called your prize cards. You don't know what they are. So once you get a chance to actually search your deck by using a card that allows you to look inside of your deck, then you can decide, okay, what do I have in my prize cards? Are those important cards that I need for the specific matchup that I'm playing? And if so, you can just write them down on here, and you can actually keep this hidden from your opponent. So you can actually just, okay, I have a choice band. Okay, I wrote choice. All right. So then once you pick it up from your prize cards, you can actually just cross it out, and then okay, the choice band's not my prize cards anymore. I have that. I don't need that anymore. So it is always very good to just bring a pad and a paper. It can't hurt for the more competitive scene, obviously. And the last thing that we have on the optional list, and the last thing we're going to be going over today, is something that I actually don't have on me right now, but it is a watch. Watches are very good for keeping track of time. There are different settings on how you can play the game. There's best of 1s, there's best of 3s, and they all have different time limits. So you always want to keep an eye out on the time, and it's very important to know when to scoop, especially if you're a best of 3. Once again, I'll be going way into detail about that later on, but having a watch on you is very good. You cannot have your iPhone, you cannot have your stopwatch on your iPhone sitting on the table or anything like that, any kind of electronic devices. It's strictly prohibited in the Pokemon trading card game. Everything has to be either written down or attached to your wrists. I mean, obviously, I don't think that you can, write notes on your hand. You might be able to. You would really have to dig into the rule book, but I don't think anybody would really even try that. But that's it for today, guys. This is the basic stuff of what you need to play the Pokemon trading card game, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, I'm going to be making a lot more videos explaining to all you new beginning players on how to get into the game and what you need to play the game. In the beginning, it's very hard for me to find information, and I just want to bring it to you guys as best that I can, because I spent grueling hours of research just trying to figure things out. It's very difficult for me. I wasn't very involved in the Pokemon community and things like that. So I just want to bring you guys the simple things, We're going to be going very complex into strategy and everything like that once we get through how to play the game, which is most likely going to be the next episode. So keep a lookout for it, guys. If you guys have any questions, comments, leave them down in the comments section. I'm always open to suggestions, to constructive criticism. So, until next time.